Hello one and all, this is EURAUD from Next Forex Trade. Today is Wednesday the 9th of October 2019. It's just gone 12 midday here in the UK. So let's crack on, let's have a look at what the market's saying at the moment. You can see at the moment I've got three positions in here on two different currencies. So I'm short on the Euro Swissy, and also on the AUDUSD. I've got two positions in on that. We'll come to that a bit later. Just see how I'm managing these at the moment. And for now, we'll just kick off and just look at the other cycle through the market. Basically, go through in the normal order that we do. So as normal, we'll start off with the AUDCAD. Some clear signs of bearishness still very apparent here. I think this is matured enough to give enough context for entry if you're not in already. Now I'm not looking to open any more positions because I'm already handling these ones, but certainly I can see opportunity here. So we've got the downtrend here that we're seeing on the daily chart. Lower lows, lower highs. It's inside our standard deviation in the upper half of our channel, giving signs that it's overbought and could move back to move lower. We've got this lower high here on the daily as well, which has encountered some kind of zonal resistance around these levels here. You can see there's previous resistance that the price was finding, so this gives a good reference point for above our standard for above our resistance area here. It's nearing our upper edge of our standard deviation. It's not interacting with it like these ones were, but it's near enough. There's enough context there to have a stop above that level, which on these lower time frames would be, if looking at the 4 hourly, it's this high. And it's really the progression of the lower time frames that has strengthened the decision to potentially, well, to short this. You can see that resistance I was talking about has more clarity on these lower time frames, these highs here where the price has struggled to move much higher. So this move here on the daily, 4 hourly here, lower lows, lower highs, fits within our standard deviation. And on this one, we can see how the price is interacting with the upper edge of our standard deviation. So this is a much clearer sign. So to short this, I'd be looking for stops above this level. 1-to-1 reward to risk. Actually, let me just bear me 1 sec. Just want to check on that high. 1 sec. Just make sure I'm looking at the same thing here. 1 moment. Yeah, so sorry, I just wanted to check that this was the same high here that we're looking at. So yeah, on the lower high, we can see this is our reference point. So shorting on this 1-to-1 gives some decent value for money. So if we were to enter this now, stops above this level, it's about 55 pips or so. So this takes a 1-to-1 reward to risk to these types of levels here. There's a scope for a 2-to-1 viably to potentially these types of lows here, shorting this. You've got a nice bearishness in the hourly as well. So yeah, this is a viable short for me. Again, if I wasn't already in positions, there'd be a lot of correlation if I were to try and short this now. So this isn't one I'm personally looking to get on the back of, but this trade stacks as a short. So stops above this level, 1-to-1 viably, 2-to-1 to get out of this, potential to scale in. So yeah, this looks good for a short. AUDCAD. Next. So let's have a look. AUDCHF. So bearish overall. This, I mean, the price action on the 4 hourly and the hourly are great. I mean, we've got, inside our standard deviation, lower lows, lower highs. Makes sense on multiple contexts. So similar to that previous position I was talking about, stops above this previous lower high here. There's enough maturity in this to consider shorting with a stop above here. It would put our stop loss outside of our standard deviation as well, above this previous, what was resistance, previous support. So we've got a good reference point. Yeah, short on AUDCHF, 1-to-1 as well. Let's just have a look at the hourly for timing. Might want to, if you want to just finesse the entry on this, just wait for the price to move past the lows of these candles on the hourly, just for a more assured or probable trade, because it looks like it could find some more resistance, at least on the 4 hourly, moving to these types of highs here. So waiting for the price to kind of interact and move past the lows of the previous candle on the hourly could kind of finesse that entry. But it's by the by. Basically, you're looking for a stop above this type of level on the daily, and again, your 1-to-1 is going to be around about yeah, there's a lot of potential in this, around about these levels here, and viably go for holding positions to these types of levels here. So 2-to-1, 3-to-1 possibly out of this type of trade. Yeah, this is looking pretty tasty for shorts as well. But like I said, the only thing that's not, super great on this at the moment is what the 4 hourly is doing. Looks like it could find some resistance off of there, but not too much to be worried about. There's bearishness overall, kind of being shown on multiple time frames to warrant a short. So that's another good entry. AUDJPY, I think there's better stuff out there based on what we said. This is a bit too close to support for me. Not great reversal candles at the moment, and the previous two that we've discussed give better opportunity, so pass on that one. AUDUSD, this is a trade that I'm in. So overall, I was looking at this bearish move here. We can see that I've scaled into this, adding to 2% in total in this position. I've got stops above these previous highs here. Now the 4 hourly time frame has started to give a bit more context to the bullishness, which is not what I really want to see. I want to see it continue with this story here. So lower lows and lower highs. That hasn't been invalidated yet. So this still makes sense. I've still got good position on this, but I'm just overly wary of what the price has started to do in this retrace in terms of this move here. Started to move back, and it's fitting neatly within the standard deviation to the upside. But having said that, it's a bit of limbo. This really could still have context to continue moving down. So what I'd like to see in the following hours is basically, if we use the hourly for context, is to find resistance at these highs and start approaching and attacking these lows again, breaking this support to move lower, which will give me a bit more confidence that the price could go towards my my take profit levels. But yeah, this is one just to be cautious of. Certainly, I'm not going to be upset if it takes me out, gets stopped out at these levels, because I've managed to take the trade appropriately. Risk was fine, everything was running fine in the setup. But if it does start to take out these highs, I may consider moving these stops to break even. Sorry, take profits to break even, just to protect the capital. But yeah, so wait and see on that one, really. Just see how that materializes over today and the rest of the week, but nothing to panic about. CAD CHF, no, that's very choppy price action. CAD JPY, no, bearish overall, but still needs to find value, pull back a bit more and to the upper edge of our standard deviation, maybe encounter some resistance and then move lower, but not right now. It's not great for trading. No, don't really like this price action. There's kind of a bearish intent to this, so the highs and the lows are getting lower in this move here, but just again, where the price is at the moment, there's not great value for money. It's about the average of our standard deviation. I want to see it move up a bit more and then show signs of reversal to move lower, so pass on that one. Euro AUD, bullish overall. This again is there was a viable entry yesterday. Could still be long on this again. I think from yesterday's, would have hit and take profit based on yesterday's recommendation. Can't remember. So yesterday, what I was saying was a stop loss below this low here. I mean, the most secure or like the stop loss that would make sense on multiple time frames would be on above this higher low based on the daily. All right, so underneath here, also underneath this previous support, it's outside of our standard deviation, but that would mean a very wide stop on a one-to-one reward to risk, pushing your take profits viably to these kinds of highs or beyond. And as I've mentioned several times in the previous videos, this is can be an expensive pair to be long on the carry. So on the swaps going in one day to the next, it can be quite hefty. That's going to eat into your profit, especially if you're only going for a one-to-one. So the suggestion was to use this higher low here as the entry. Now, it's slightly riskier because it's not outside of our standard deviation. It doesn't make sense on multiple time frames, only on the 4-hourly and lower time frames, but it's still enough context in this price action to consider that. So this would be one to consider at a reduced risk, so 0.5%, or just go the full 1% and just be wary of what the price could do. If it messes up, it's on you, because you know what could happen. So the trade here is basically stop loss above here, going for a one-to-one long. Be taking out price. You'd be taking out a stop loss taking out a take profit way before those previous highs. So it's about 196. Even now, yeah, it would take your take profits to around these levels, which is on a one-to-one. Yeah, it stacks as a trade. I think from the other ones that we've discussed already, there's probably some better opportunities where I'd prefer to put my money if I were looking to open new positions. But this certainly has opportunity in it. It's just slightly more risky in terms of the trade, and slightly more expensive as well in terms of the cost of taking the position. So this is the EUROCAD. Sorry, EUROCAD. So EUROCAD, we're looking at bearishness overall, lower lows, lower highs. Yeah. So still, I mean, absolutely bearish on this. The problem for me at the moment, I've mentioned this by the looks of what I've drawn in here in previous videos, that there's just too much support here really on the lower time frames. We want that to be broken, so the price to fall, to break that support, move lower, and start giving context to a standard deviation from the high to the low as it moves down, and that would fall into the story of what we're seeing on these higher time frames as well. At the moment, it's just very boxy in terms of the price action. Get rid of this. It's very, very boxy. You can see it's just going up, down, up, down, up, down. So this could break viably to the upside or to the downside. Obviously, we want to see it break lower to potentially get on shorts on this, but really the safety feature in this is waiting for that support to be broken on the lower time frame and then pulling back, allowing for a potential entry. So yeah, pass on that for now. What else we got? Euro Swissy. So this is another trade that I'm in. Came very close to hitting take profit on one-to-one in yesterday's market. There is, yeah, I'm still happy to hold out this. I mean, there's nothing wrong yet with this price action. Price will never really move in a straight line, so it's just oscillating. It's coming back very, very close to where my entry was, but as of yet, it's still what I'm doing, what I'd anticipate it to do in terms of the price action. It's creating lower highs. It's falling within our standard deviation. You can see that the highs are kind of interacting with the upper edge of it, as are the lows. So what I would need to see probably in the coming hours is the price just start to make another kind of impulse move downwards again, which would hit my take profit and get me out of this in profit. What would be worrying is if this kind of resistance here, let's get a horizontal in. If this sort of resistance here starts to get broken and the price moves higher than that, that could be slightly worrying, because it would have broken price structure. It wouldn't be making lower highs anymore. Also, that's quite a significant area of resistance, so that would be quite significant. Yeah, it would be outside of our standard deviation for that price move as well. So certainly, if in the coming hours don't start to see, or let me put it another way, I mean, I'm anticipating in the coming hours this will find resistance at this kind of level and move lower. If it doesn't, then I would consider moving my take profit to break even to protect capital, because there is a greater likelihood of the price starting to do this, so move upwards with higher highs and higher lows and approach this stop loss here, So yeah, we'll see how that pans out. I will have to update you tomorrow on that, but again, nothing to sweat just yet. The price is doing what I'm anticipating it to do. It's just about holding out really, just to see what happens and not making any rash movements. So here, Euro GBP, not really tradable at the moment for me. There's some signs of bearishness in this move here, but there's no real signs of reversal off of resistance as of yet to get short on this, and all of our lower time frames are very bullish as well at the moment, so pass on that. Euro JPY, no, be bearish on this, but just too near this previous support here. Needs to come back, find some value and show signs of reversal before potentially shorting. So not quite yet. No, Euro NZD, it's just higher highs and higher lows, but it's bang in the middle of our standard deviation channel. Want it to fall back, find support at these levels and show signs of moving higher, so pass on that one. Euro USD, bearish overall. Several days of just struggling like hell to get through that resistance area. Even today looks like it's partially tested it, but there's not been convincing signs of bearishness. Although, I mean, that's good. In yesterday's market, it broke through. You can see this horizontal that I put in on the hourly here, and it has broken through that, but now it's come back. Instead of creating kind of lower highs, it's come round again and it's testing that level once more, which isn't what we want to see. You want to see it break through but then cycle down, making lower lows and lower highs to fall into the story of what we want to see, what we're seeing on the higher time frames. It didn't really do that. It's just going into a very boxy type of price action. So that isn't good for trading. The way that we trade this strategy, we want to see trendability, trends in place. So really, yeah, this one's a wait and see. I'd want to see these lower time frames start to show better signs of bearishness first for the Euro USD, so pass on that. GBP AUD, this is doing, you know, what you'd anticipate in terms of it finding support off of our standard deviation, off of this previous area of support as well. I think there was a retrace on this as well in terms of the fib. Where's Fibonacci? So we're looking at about a 38.2 retrace as well on this. But for me, the problem on this entry is the way that this daily candle has formed. In fact, sorry, this candle still needs to form before making a decision. So we need today to close. And then after that closing, we'd also need to see some more bullishness appear in these lower time frames as well. So the hourly, so these kinds of highs, this high, the price start moving past those previous highs and create higher highs, higher lows. That will also correlate with a move most likely past the previous day's high. But yeah, I won't go too much into this because we need this candle to close first of all to make that decision. So this is really one to wait for till tomorrow, see how today's candle closes and potentially be long on this, and obviously stop losses below that support that we're seeing. So these levels 1-to-1, depending on where the entry, would probably take profits before the previous highs around these levels. So ones to look out for, but not ready quite yet. So let's have a look at the next one. So GBP CAD, still a bit too much limbo for me. I'd pass on this. Yeah, I'd pass on this. Pass. Next. There's been better stuff that we've looked at already in the video that is more tradable and easier to read. So here, what we got, GBP CHF, starting to see some signs of bullishness come in. So it looks like it's finding some support around this so it's previous resistance here, support here. Yesterday's candle gave support, so we want to see today's candle look something like what it looks like now, and that will be off of the standard deviation support off of this horizontal support, and then basically look for signs of bullishness in the lower time frames as well to give us a clue that this price could move much higher. And that would be a decent entry. Stops below this level, obviously, outside of that support and the standard deviation. But again, it's conjecture until we see it close. So we need today to close and have a look at it again tomorrow to see how that has progressed. But yeah, again, could be something decent for the end of this week or going into next week, but not for today. Next one. So what we got here? So GBP JPY. No, again, I think we've seen better stuff in the earlier positions. This is a bit too much limbo at the moment. This downtrend has context, lower lows, lower highs, but this retrace also has context as well, where it's just been finding support off of recent days. And you can see these previous highs that the price had as well here. Price has fallen into and found support. So this could viably in the short term be moving up, but we're looking for signs of bearishness, which we can see on these lower time frames. But it's selling it into this now would just be too risky for me. Stop loss would have to be above these highs here, and you'd be selling into this potential support because these previous highs probably goes back as well. So I'd pass on this for today. Just look for better stuff. Okay, so this is the GBP NZD. Yeah, it's nicely finding support. You can see a fast standard deviation off of previous highs and lows as well. So this price could viably have a lot of trouble moving much lower than this. But because of the way this candle was started today, I would want to see this candle close first of all before making any decisions. And obviously we'd need to see some bullishness come back into these lower time frames as well. These are all very, very bearish at the moment. We want to see the highs start to be broken, make higher highs, higher lows across the board. So pass on that one. GBP USD, no, it's that same. I think it's going to be the same limbo. Yeah, don't like how this is coming into support here. I'd be bearish on this overall. This move here definitely looks bearish, but you can see at the moment the way the price has found support on several days at this type of level. Even today, its previous highs here as well. It's kind of zonal, these levels, these previous highs. So it's probably going to have some trouble moving much lower than this price, but I don't want to be selling into that now. I want to see it find a bit more value, and also to invalidate this potential move here. So if this finds support, then it's likely to move up and find resistance around these types of levels and potentially beyond. So that wouldn't really be good. So you don't want to sell into that, and you don't really want to buy into that because of the overall bearishness that you're seeing here. So just wait for clearer confirmation really on that one. Wouldn't be my choice today. Okay, so we got the NZD CAD. What we got going on here? So clear signs of bearishness on the daily, 4 hourly. Starting to see some signs of bearishness on the hourly, but it's really this previous low that is worth putting this level here. I'd want to see the price break that support. Move lower, pull back, giving context to a standard deviation from high to low. It would also mean that we've got clearer signs of bearishness on the daily as well, and we'd be looking for a stop loss above that type of level. There's easily 3, possibly 4 to 1 on, depending on where the entry is on this one, if that kind of materializes. But yeah, it's all hanging on the price starting to show bearishness on these lower time frames. So to break previous support, start making lower lows, lower highs, and potentially to get short on that. So NZD JPY, what we got? I'd leave this. This looks similar to my Aussie trade at the moment. but I would be hesitant to short this just yet. Want to see a smaller candle, better reversals off of this type of level. Yeah, this isn't great for trading. This is not the kind of candle we want to see. A nice short reversal type candle, like a doji or something like that. That's just a smaller, less of a fuller body and a smaller in distance from high to low to allow for a tighter entry. And this isn't great. This is, you know, and these are quite flat as well, the low time frames. 4 hour looks okay, but no, I wouldn't look to trade this at all just yet. Wait for something clearer. So what we got here, NZD USD. Yeah, I'd pass on this. There's better stuff we've covered already today. Lower lows, lower highs, clearly in a overbought area in our standard deviation, which is good. There's clear areas of resistance, so placing a stop above that type of level would make sense. 4 hourly, most recent move, so it's basically this move here is the same as this one here. It's bearish overall, but we can see on the lower time frames here, it's that kind of boxiness that's seen on quite a few of the pairs today on these lower time frames. Oh, don't want 3, want 2. So it's kind of just oscillating between the highs and the lows here. It's found resistance, bouncing. Want it to break past these lows, really. Break this support, move lower, show lower lows, lower highs on these lower time frames, allowing for standard deviation from high to low to help guide the entry of that short. But yeah, it's not great for trading today. USD CAD, no, that's very choppy price action. USD Swissy, yeah, this is looking good based on the daily. Got a nice kind of bullish type channel here, fits nicely within our standard deviation. Yesterday's candle fell almost perfectly off of our lowest edge of our standard deviation. But would I be long on this? Probably not. It's not really congruent enough in the lower time frames on the hourlies for me. These are still very, you can see these lower highs, lower lows. Stop loss would definitely be below these lows here for me. So it would be these lows here on the hourly, but want to see this move up, push up, and then pull back to give clearer signs of bullishness for me on these lower time frames, which we're not seeing yet. But yeah, possibly into today, later today or tomorrow, that may happen to make that viable, but not right now. Okay. And what we got here? So sorry, USD JPY, bearish overall. No, we've seen better stuff. Earlier in the video. Yeah, this is at limbo again. Bearish overall in this move. Retrace has some, you know, bullish intent to it, where it could basically still move higher to retest this type of level or higher, or it could just continue lower. And I don't like where the stop would need to be on this as well. It would need to be too wide above these levels here. It would still stack, but it's just better stuff that we've looked at. So pass on that. And that's it. Bitcoin. Yeah, that's it for today. So let's wrap it up for today. Do feel free to like the video, leave any comments if you've got any questions about the strategy, and I will see you tomorrow in Thursday session. See you then. Bye.